Yes, people, we are live, like Martin Tyler says. Match review time straight after the game. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 0. But before we get into it, let's hit the intro. Yes, people, welcome back. Welcome back to Albert J TV. Match review time. A disappointing result. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 0. Yeah, so much to talk about, but hopefully this won't be a long match review after putting me and Alex putting ourselves through that pain of 135 minutes, man, or whatever, however long it was, 95 minutes, whatever. But guys, smash the like button straight away. Smash it, kick it, poke it. Just make sure you hit the button. I've got a special guest for me, my bro, for the Arsenal. Alex, thanks for coming on the channel. I appreciate you bringing me on your channel for the watch along. It's fun doing it with you, mate. A long time wanting to do the collaboration. So where can the guys find you, my friend?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, my friend. You can just follow me on For The Arsenal on YouTube, and it's For The Arsenal _. On Twitter. And thanks for having me on. I hate coming into these having not won the game, and especially when the performance was that poor as well. Yeah, it just makes it that much harder, you know.
I remember saying to you, man, like I actually prefer it when Arsenal have the early games because then you can get on with the rest of your day. But then the flip side to that is if they lose, it's not going to make your day very good, man. And as you know, we're in the third lockdown. And there's only so many times you guys can go to Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Morrison's, Co-op, all the other brands that are out there. But yeah, it's disappointing watching that game today with you, mate. But guys, with me, Albert J TV, as you know, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And my Twitter and Instagram is above the overlay, above my head. So follow me straight away. You can multitask, you can do it. So get straight into it. So yeah, Alex, I'm not going to keep you long, man, because to be honest with you, one, I'm hungry, and two, but we got to do this to get our views to the people that are subscribers. Guys, get your comments in. I'll read them out when I can. Yeah, so we'll start from the top, mate. In terms of team lineups, as you probably saw of my match preview, I'll get it up on the screen now. That was the team I went for, and it was the team that it was. Yes. So was you happy with the lineup, mate, or any changes that you would have made personally?
Yeah, I thought, you know, it's a strong lineup. My only reservations was of Lacazette and Smith Rowe, not because of their form or anything like that. I just think they've both played such amount of football over the last 2 months. I would have liked us to have freshened it up a little bit. I was glad to see Pepe and Saka still starting. I thought Xhaka and Partey have been a good partnership, and the back four with the goalkeeper was pretty much as I expected. But yeah, Smith Rowe and Lacazette were the only two that I was surprised with. I would have gone with Odegaard and Aubameyang up front myself. But to be honest, I didn't have a problem with it. It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hear you with the changes. I think for me, like sort of looking in the week, there's a lot of talk on Twitter in terms of Emil Smith Rowe and is he tired and the run of games he's had and he's young. And so I wasn't against him if he wasn't going to be picked, but I did think he was going to start. But again, like I said, I wasn't against him not starting in favor of playing Odegaard. That's the only possible change I would have said from the team that I went with. But I only put Matt Ryan in, to be honest with you, because at the time, we thought he was going to be injured, but then there was reports that he trained for the last couple of days. But I only put him in because I didn't want to see Runarsson in there, because we just know that the guy is not ready, man. So I was pretty much spot on with the team we had. Like I said to you on your channel, on the watch along, many Arsenal fans have said it in terms of Nicolas Pepe, that if you're going to play him, and I'm surprised Arteta hasn't done it sooner. And in terms of particularly with this formation, that when he's on the right of a free, he's too predictable. And he's very left-footed. So for the balance of the team, it makes sense for him to be played on the left. And I actually thought he did okay today. I thought he's played better in the previous games, but he gives the side a better balance, and he looks better in that formation. But in terms of the Villa side, again, almost spot on with the team that Chris kind of picked from Villa together. Big shout out to him, even though I'm probably not going to talk to him for 24 hours anyway, because of this result. Because he actually went for Villa to win 2-0. But yeah, the only change Villa had, as you can see with that team that's on the screen, was that Douglas Luiz didn't start, which Chris did say he might not start. And I think then Camber was starting instead of Luiz. So no big surprises with their team lineup. But yeah, Alex, I'm going to start a kick off with you, mate, to ask, get the team lineups. What did you make of the first half? I've got my thoughts, which I'll come into, but I want to get your sort of maybe first 15, half an hour, 45, or just how you saw it, mate.
I just didn't see it coming, mate. I thought the one thing we would see today is a reaction from the team because of everything that happened on Tuesday. And I mean, I think if it was us fans playing today, we would have been so hyped up for this game because of all the injustice we feel and all that from officials. I think we just didn't see that today, and I just think we literally give the goal away, and that just set the tempo for the whole game for me. It just the team just didn't look at it at all.
Yeah, Alex, I'm going to come back to you. Yeah, 1 minute and 30 seconds, mate. 1 minute and 30 seconds. They scored a goal.
Yeah, it's, literally giving them the 3 points right from the first minute. And it's just,
so I saw the comment.
And one thing we touched on, if you guys didn't tune into the watch along, one thing we touched on was it seems to be a consistent thing now where we're starting slowly. And this isn't just Arteta. If you go back to Unai Emery's days, I mean, we went 22 unbeaten, but I don't think we led a half-time in any of those games. And it's with that sort of team, but you have to ask yourself the question, why is that? Do we need different psychologists working with these players? They shouldn't have to, because they should be believing in themselves from the first minute. And I'm just sick of the slow starts we constantly have now.
Yeah, so I got that comment up. Dan, you wind up. I love Dan. Football one. He's a Man United fan. Dan, you could have at least messaged me, maybe even after 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it is. Just this is not the time, man. But Dan, love always, man. But nah, you can keep Phil Jones, man. We don't want they'll say the new Duncan Edwards, as you guys called him.
No chance.
Good. But big up the guys in the chat, man. Rich is in there, Sentiment FC. Shane's in there. Big up to you, mate. Football want Dan. Get the comments that these feel like John Terry's done a good job on us today. Seems like he learnt well from Jose. Very reminiscent of the North London derby earlier this season. Yeah, Alex, man. Like I said, 1 minute and 30 seconds in, man. And I said to you at the time on the watch along, I feel sorry for Mikel Arteta at those kind of periods, because you think, set the team up. We've come off a disappointing result against Wolves, where we should have won the game after the first 45 minutes. And then we come into a very big game away to Villa, a very good side. Yes, you can say they're 9th in the table, but I think they've gone 4 points ahead of us now. So, Cedric, he's done well in recent weeks. Again, a shame, poor pass to Gabriel. And then you can question the positioning of Rob Holding. And you know what? If it wasn't for the deflection, I think Matt Ryan would have saved it personally, because it was just out of his grasp as Ollie Watkins scores. And Ollie Watkins, you guys will know, is an Arsenal fan, and he had a good time at the Emirates, and we gifted him a belated birthday present whenever his birthday is in this year or whenever, to score again, man. So disappointing start, mate. But yeah, Alex, the problem again, you highlighted it as well. We don't start games very well, man. Guys were saying it in the chat on your watch along, like Gooner Nation and the other guys that were there. Like, I don't understand how you're supposed to get a foothold in games when, one, you're not starting well, and two, you're going behind. And the first 15 minutes, I don't think we got going, man. Like, I think after about 10, 15 minutes, we had 70% possession. And if you look at a lot of Arsenal games in recent weeks, if you look at possession stats in the first half and whatever, we're always high. But when you watch the game aesthetically, mate, it's very, very deceiving because we don't create anything. Villa had one shot on goal, and that was the goal. Arsenal had no shots on goal. So, yeah, I was going to say to you, in that first half performance especially, what do you think? I know we don't start games very well, but sort of when you're analysing it yourself, sort of like through your own eyes in the first half, what's the problem as to why we're not starting well?
I don't know what it is, mate. Paul Merson, for me, if you think back of the Unai Emery, I know I keep talking about that, but
no, I talk about him.
Yeah, if you think back to there, right, we were 22 games unbeaten, and I think every one of us were gassing up the manager and the team and everything. But the one person that wasn't was Paul Merson, and he said, if you're not winning the first half and having to rely on the second half and constantly change during the game, it just means that you're coming into games with the wrong setup or the wrong mentality or whatever. And I think that could be the issue with us. And for whatever reason, we just make silly mistakes in the wrong times. Cedric's pass today is something you do on the edge of their box, not on the edge of your own box. And we pay the price. But even then, right, forget the mistake. Cedric's been playing really well, and everyone makes mistakes here and there. It's probably the only mistake he's made since he's come in the side. Forget that. You've still got 88 minutes to change the game, and we just didn't see that. We didn't see a reaction. And what the biggest thing for me was second half. After about 15 minutes, the game is really open. It's end to end. It's probably suited us more than Villa because they're the team that's winning. And he goes then and changes it to a back five. And I don't care what people say about being a back three. It's not a back three. It's a back five. You've got five defenders on the pitch, and you're, even if it's Saka at wing back, when they're defending, there's five defenders on the pitch, and we're losing 1-0. I just don't understand it. As soon as we made that change, the game was gone. The game's finished. We cannot create chances in that formation. It just doesn't work. And I don't know why he's so obsessed with it. He's massively obsessed with that formation. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I want to ask you about Emil Smith Rowe. Actually, what did you make of? I mean, because I know you did say, to be fair to me, that you would have been tempted to not have started him. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Anish Thomas, man. I got that wrong. The title was. I'll change that afterwards. But yeah, it was definitely 1-0 to Villa. I can tell you that now. Yeah. Anish, thanks for pointing that out, man. Because I probably wouldn't even have picked that up. Much appreciated, man. But I'll definitely change that. People can thinking they're watching a game from like 20 years ago. But no, Emil Smith Rowe, like, to me, even I'll give him his due. Like, I know we put him in the team for like his creative sort of spark and the rest of it. But I think he does actually do a lot of good work off the ball. But even I thought today, there's not many times I can remember him actually being effective in the final third. I don't know whether that's because the way Arsenal started the game or how Villa set up. But yeah, I think I wouldn't have been against him not starting today. But then on the same token, he has played well to earn, a regular place in the starting team. But again, that's down to Arteta, whether he sees fit to rest him or to give Odegaard minutes to make Emil Smith Rowe a bit more fresh. But I see the comment there. You're right, but it does happen especially when you get a bloody result like you did today, mate. Believe me.
Yeah,
cheers, Adam. But yeah, sort of. What I was also going to say to you, I was going to say, it's strange because I don't know if you guys agree in the chat, but sort of watching that game, I actually don't think Villa played that well.
Nah.
And yeah, you know what? Chris and Villa together made the point that since the sort of turn of 2021, Villa haven't really been playing that well, to be honest. And he said that he gave the reasons why in terms of the COVID outbreak they had and players not being fit fully. But yeah, I thought Villa they weren't fantastic. I know we wasn't great, but we could have got back into that game, man. You know what it was, particularly in the sort of in the we was getting. I don't know what your thoughts were, Alex. There was time we was getting to like the final third, but it's just the passing. And one thing I want to ask you about, and I know Arsenal fans are going to be on this. What's happened to our set pieces, man?
Well, we talked about it constantly throughout the game, and we. For me, I don't know if you guys. I like to listen to ex-players a lot and what they say during games, and one thing Gary Neville always says is in his 15 years of Man United. But I think about 7 of them may have been with David Beckham. He used to say David Beckham could have hit 8 free kicks into the wall or over the bar, but he would have taken the 9th and 10th free kick. We don't seem to have that one player who will step up for every single set piece. And what I mean by that is what you have then is you don't have your best set piece takers taking the set pieces. And for me, I just think some of the deliveries are so embarrassing that I genuinely think amateur footballers can do better than some of them. And you just have to question why that's the case. Because, listen, in football, there's situations that are very hard to replicate, to train for. But one thing you definitely can is for dead balls and, corners and things like that. You don't need to have another 11 players to practice that. You just need a ball, a corner flag, and a box where you can just constantly cross these into. And I just don't know for what reason we're not able to do that, because some of the balls we put in are they're so poor. It literally is embarrassing. But yeah, it's definitely a problem, especially when we've got a set piece coach that has been brought in. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. No, you're right. I can't agree with you more. It's just I don't understand. These are professional footballers, man. Like, listen, I love Bukayo Saka, but he hit a corner in the first half that went out for a goal kick. I mean, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and it's like I would say probably in terms of looking throughout the squad, I would say our best 2 probably set piece takers would be Saka, Tierney, and probably Cedric, if I'm being honest. So that's free. You can't tell me them guys can't take a corner. So you're right. I don't know what's going on that they bought a set piece coach to come to Arsenal. I mean, I think someone mentioned it on the chat on your watch along. I think we've only scored 3 goals from set pieces in the Premier League. I'm sure someone will find that out if that's right or wrong, but I'm sure that's true. I don't remember many goals we scored this season from set pieces, and one reason that is because our delivery is so poor. If I sort of come on to the second half of the game, really, and a few other things, Arteta and substitution. You guys know I'm not really one for big on talking about refs because they make me sick anyway. But listen, in this country, right, we had a situation 3 years ago where none of the referees were chosen to be part of the World Cup. Now, that should have given the referees in this country a bit of a kick up the arse to say, you know what, it's a bit embarrassing for our profession in this country, officiating in the Premier League and whatever leagues in the domestic football, that we can't seem to improve our refereeing standards. And that's with the implementation of VAR as well. I mean, you can talk about the implementation of VAR and how it's being implemented by the officials, but what did you make of the referee today, man?
Listen, I wouldn't say he made a difference to the scoreline. He probably wouldn't have. But yeah, there's a couple of situations. The fouls on Saka could have been dealt with better. Perhaps, someone like Jack Grealish should have been sent off with a number of fouls he made. But I don't want to talk about the refs today because I think it was just us, mate. It was just us that were poor. There's no excuses for today. It was just, I don't even know how to sum it up, lad.
Yeah. No, you know what? I need to rewatch that again. You know, because I remember Shane. A good point actually. You raised the point when there was a clash ahead with Lacazette and I think it was Konza. But I must have blinked or something. I must have missed the actual foul in the box or whenever it was. But yeah, I mean, you're right. There was a couple of decisions in that match. Like Grealish should have got booked at least, I think. Because I seen that guy get free kicks and opposing defenders and midfield players get booked for nothing. But yeah, and I mean the decision at the end, I mean, was crazy when it was actually a foul on Jack Grealish, and he gave the free kick to Arsenal. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And there was a couple of times when Saka got taken out, but yeah, it's crazy. It's mad refereeing. But so I see why Arsenal fans just lose their heads. But yeah, sort of coming into the second half, mate. Oh God. You're right. The first 15 minutes, I thought it turned into a very, very open game. Yeah, what did you make of the second half, mate? Sort of breaking it down into sections, if you can, mate.
Yeah, well, we kept saying all through the half time, didn't we, that we always get a reaction in the second half, and probably the first 5 minutes of that second half, Villa looked more dangerous than they did in the first half. They could have scored 1 or 2 goals more. But after that, I think we finally started to get into the game. And for some reason, he then goes and changes it. What time does Aubameyang and Willian come on? They can't come on much later than that, could they?
About I remember when he brought on Odegaard, that was on the 66th minute.
That was, but Aubameyang was the first change, wasn't it?
Yeah, just before. So you were talking about probably about 3 to 5 minutes before.
I just think once he made those changes, because he brings Odegaard on, and nothing against Odegaard, I think he had a couple of decent touches. Probably should have hit the target with his chance, but couldn't really blame him. But what happened when he came on was that he takes Cedric off, plays Saka at left wing back, and we go to that back 5 again. And once as soon as I saw that happen, I knew the game's over, because the formation, I just don't understand it, mate. It's negative, but also it's not as defensively sound as the back 4. So you're literally getting the worst of both worlds, attacking and defending. So I don't know what he sees in that formation. I really don't.
Yeah, what did you make? Because I think I don't know. I think it was Rich put it in the comments earlier. And it's touching on the substitutions, mate. What did you make of the substitutions Arteta made? All 3 of them. Yeah, very poor.
As bad as I've seen. I understood Aubameyang for Lacazette. Like I said before the game, Lacazette has literally played like every game for the last 2 months, and you've got to remember these players are literally playing every 3 days at the moment. So you've got to change it up. And I don't think Lacazette played particularly well, so I understood that one. I also understood Odegaard coming on, but it should have been for Smith Rowe, a like for like with the same shape. But he brings Cedric off when I just don't get that. I really don't get that. And then Willian, that's got to be the worst one. The worst one. You got Martinelli on the bench, young, hungry, will give everything for the last 15, 20 minutes, and he chooses Willian. And this is why, like I was saying in the live stream earlier, I'm convinced that Willian has some sort of clause in his contracts which states he has to play or has to come on or whatever a certain amount of times every season. I'm convinced by it, because there's no way that Arteta's watching Willian week to week thinking he's playing well, because I don't know a single Arsenal fan who's rated him any of his games this season except for the first one against Fulham. So I don't know. Arteta was, like Rich was saying, he has to be held to account today. I thought he was really poor with his subs and the change of tactics.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing for me with Arteta is that you talk about that with the subs, and obviously Rich mentioned in the chat, and some of the others will as well, that this is not the first time with him. He makes some very, very strange decisions in terms of substitutes. You could question a lot of the time it's not proactive enough. I mean, the Willian one baffled me. I mean, I mean, the thing I don't get it. I mean, Thomas Partey, which again is a concern now because we don't know if it's precautionary or how serious it is in terms of injury. Because it looked like a hamstring injury to me, and they're not good at any stage of the season. So, it'd be interesting to see what the sort of diagnosis is in the next couple of days of how serious it is. But yeah, Arteta doesn't help himself, man, because to me, like you said in the live stream, Martinelli was the obvious substitution to bring on. But what one thing that puzzled me, I don't know if you guys agree in the chat. Before I say, smash the like button if you haven't already, and subscribe to me and Alex's channel and follow us on our social media. But for me, it's like when I saw the substitutions today, right? It's like you're putting guys on, and it got to a stage for me where I looked at the team shape, and it was gone.
Yeah,
Pepe was effective on the left. We move him to the right. Saka gets moved back to left back. Emil Smith-Rowe looked absolutely out on his feet from what I saw, and he should have come off. Yeah, the team shape had just gone. I thought from where the game was open for the first sort of 15, 20 minutes, I thought Arsenal from 70 minutes onwards looked gone. I didn't see any chances created. Yeah, we got into the final third in some areas, but there weren't no cutting edge, unfortunately. And yeah, the thing is, when you put on a load of subs, or you put on quite a few different subs, what you want them to affect the game, but I just think team shape wise, we just look gone. Yeah, individuals. I want to come on to what did you make of Matt Ryan today?
He was probably our man of the match, wasn't he? Yeah, he was the only player that had a good game in my eyes. He couldn't be blamed for the goal, his deflection. Yeah. But just the rest of the team were all poor today. Everybody, every single player just wasn't at it. I thought the one thing we would do today is dominate the midfield with Xhaka, Partey, and Smith-Rowe. But I don't think we did. We had the possession, but a lot of it was around our back four, and yeah, it's just it's such a poor performance. It's one of the worst performances of the season for me.
Yeah, and the thing is as well to add to that, we saying at half time. I don't remember many games other than when Arsenal have injuries, where Arteta makes a substitution at half time. I guys in the chat, if you remember, tell me now, because I don't remember. And that's the thing. When I talk about him being proactive, he's not. It does. I mean, like I said, we come off the back of the defeat against Wolves. You know, we're playing a tough game in Villa. Villa haven't been, like I said, Chris and Villa together said to me, Villa this from 2021 haven't been that fantastic. And it was there for the taking. Say, I don't think Jack Grealish was that effective. I thought Arsenal did what West Ham did in the week when they tried to sort of counteract Jack Grealish by putting two men on him, basically. Not man marking him, but making sure when he gets the ball, bang, there's two men on him all the time. But even with that, with Jack Grealish, it's very difficult to keep him on the leash for the simple fact that he doesn't stay in one place.
Yeah,
you know, he moves around very. Karen's got a full story. Yeah, I did in the week against Wolves because I thought that he's probably thinking like, what have I got to do with this team? And again, when the team concede a goal within a minute and 30 seconds, it's not great, man. It just heaps even more pressure. Now we ain't forgetting about the FA Cup, but Karen, you know what it is with amongst the Arsenal fan base, whether that's just whether that's social media wise or not. I think a lot of people sort of have kind of made their mind up about Arteta, whether for him being at the club or either for him not being here. It's very difficult to shift people's minds. That's what I would say to that. But yeah, Alex, man, let me get some stats up, man. Not that they probably mean anything, but we'll have a look anyway. So yeah, let me get that comment off. Let me get that one off. So there you have it, man. Again, Arsenal 66% possession, Villa 34%. Both teams pretty equal with shots. On target, Villa a bit ahead there, 8 to Arsenal's 3. Arsenal 7 corners, but I don't particularly remember any good deliveries from them corners, if I'm being honest. Villa 3 corners, and the fouls were approximately the same. Anything to read into that, Alex, or is it just a case of what you see stats wise doesn't necessarily reflect what we saw of our own two eyes?
I think sometimes stats reflect the game, but in this instance, if you look at that, it looks like Arsenal have, I wouldn't say battered Villa, but it looks like Arsenal have completely controlled the game. But that just wasn't the case. I think the problem is that we're struggling badly right now to create chances, and it's improved since we changed formation, but I still think there's a long way to go. And even though I've been really impressed with Xhaka and Partey recently, I still think long-term thinking, we need someone like an Aouar to go next to Thomas Partey, because Arsenal have always had that ball-playing midfielder, someone who can, take the ball 20, 30 yards without having to pass it. I don't think we've got anyone like that right now. No. In terms of the stats, I don't care about stats, to be honest. I know some people are obsessed with stats. They look at the games and say, they look at the game and say, oh, do you know what? Arsenal dominated the stats. We should have won. But if you're watching the game, the game paints a different picture. So for me, it was one of the worst performances of the season, just put in the gap. And Karen was saying just now, I saw her comment, she feels sorry for Arteta. I agree with that, because no matter how much you prepare through the week, Cedric does that mistake. I don't care if it's Klopp or Guardiola, whoever's in charge. If you do mistakes like that, there's nothing you can do as a manager. But what he failed to do after that was to react in the right way and make the proper changes. But I think I'm actually someone who wants Arteta to stay. I think the main reason is I don't think anybody can come in and change the current situation at Arsenal, where we haven't got the best of finances, and to do something without money, I think it takes a very, very special manager. And I actually wanted Pochettino in, because he's someone who's proven he can do that. But I'm happy to stick with Arteta. I think he has changed things around a little bit over the last 2 months. But today was something that brought us all back down to earth a little bit, and showed us we got a lot of work to do still.
No, I hear the Arteta thing. I think for me, where I stand with it, I'm not fully convinced, but then, I do obviously want him to do well. I don't think there's any Arsenal fan that doesn't, unless you really, really got it in for him, and you just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. You're just not on board with him. But then who was when we first appointed him? Let's be honest. I mean, we wanted somebody experienced. We didn't get it. But then, I think sometimes us as Gooner fans, instead of sort of arguing amongst each other or picking Twitter debates and battles, the club have done this to the fans. They went for experience with Emery, whether you wanted Emery or not. Didn't work out. He quite clearly wasn't backed in terms of player recruitment. That's obvious. But then we go completely full circle and go for a guy that's never managed before. So the guy's going to be making mistakes on the job. But then, should we be allowing a head coach, his first job in football at Arsenal Football Club? That's on the club, man. It's not the fans, man. So guys, don't kill each other too much on Twitter, man. What I mean? We have lives outside the Twitter world, man. But yeah, like I said again, with the stats thing, you're right in a way. But one thing I always do pay attention to, man, is your shots on goal, man. Listen, you don't have to pass somebody off the pitch, man, to have a shot at goal. And that's one thing I will get on the team about, to be honest with you. But yeah, because you know what? I said it to you on your live stream, because I'm not going to keep you long, because like I said, man's hungry. I'm not going to lie, but it's like I said to you on your stream on the watch along. Now, people will say, in terms of not necessarily backing Arteta, but just talking about Arsenal in general as a team, they'll say 17 points out of 24, 2 defeats in 8. I'm assuming we might probably still just be hanging on to maybe second or third best defensive record in the league.
Yeah.
But then I'll turn around and flip it, Alex, mate. And guys in the chat, disagree with me if you want. That's 1 point in 9. And you can. That's why, at the time, you can give Arteta credit and Arsenal to say, you know what, 17 points out of 21 before the start of today's defeat. is pretty decent return. But then, like I said, you can flip it and look at it in terms of mini form and say, you know what, 9 points, 1 point. That's why before we play Manchester United, mate, I said, you know what, we need to win that game. Whether we, because we had 2 tough away games coming up, but then Wolves hadn't won a game until they beat us at the Emirates. So yeah, things in football can turn around very, very quickly. I was never on the top 4 thing, mate. I'll be honest with you, I never was. From the start of the season to obviously the run up until the Boxing Day. Yes, we got a run of form, but I was never on board for this top 4 talk, man. Not at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sort of wanted to ask you. I'm gonna come on to our fixtures. Now I've got obviously the sort of one. Someone asked us on your watch along the next 5 games, which I'm going to touch on, but I'm going to sort of talk about these ones. Let me get this banner off the screen. So obviously we lost 1-0 Villa today. I will change that in my title, by the way, guys. You won't be confused anymore. And we've got Leeds at home, Premier League on good old Valentine's Day. And then obviously we don't really know what's going on in terms of the Europa League game. There's a potential that it could be one leg. So Benfica and Man City. So Alex, yeah, looking at them 3 games, mate. So Leeds Premier League next Sunday. Benfica in the Europa League, which I'll get your thoughts on very quickly, in terms of how you think we'll do. And then at home to Man City. So in terms of our Premier League games, so just look at those 2, for example. So out of 6 points, what are you thinking and how are you feeling?
I think we'll beat Leeds. It's not going to be an easy game, and then I think we're going to lose against City the way they're playing. But I think we're almost at the point now where we've just got to sack the league off. I really do. I think everything's got to be about the Europa League now. And I made a comment just after the FA Cup game, and I said then, and I still stand by this, I said, I have no problems with him prioritising the league and the Europa League by rotating in the FA Cup. But you have to then go out and prove that was the right decision. And so far in the league, it's backfired now, because since that game, we've got 4 points out of 12. It's nowhere near good enough. But it's all, for me, it's Europa League or nothing now. I don't think we're even going to get top 6 or top 7, whatever the Europa League position is going to be. So Benfica, for me, has to be the priority. I'd even like us to rotate a little bit for the Leeds game and make sure we focus on that trip to Portugal if it is going to be out there. But yeah, it's a massive game now, that Benfica game, the double-header.
Yeah, when we drew them, mate, I'll be honest, the first thing I thought, you know what, this is a tricky time, man.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good team. Yeah, they're good team. They're
no mugs, man. So, and the thing is as well, that to talk about the Europa League very quickly, Alex, I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm interested to know what you think. Guys in the chat, when people have asked me as an Arsenal fan, what's my favourite moments as an Arsenal fan? Yeah, I can sit and talk about Invincibles and 97, 98 and, you know, but for me, I've always said winning the Winners' Cup in 94 for me was massive, because as an Arsenal fan, I've never seen us win a European trophy since.
Yeah.
And so when people say, oh, you know, we've got a better chance Europa League, in a way, I get why they would say that, because they're not confident of this side getting top 4 in the league. So, but it's been a long time since we won a European trophy, guys, man. Like, and as a club, to be honest with you, to only have ever won 2 European trophies is a disgrace.
Yeah,
for a big football club as Arsenal. Like, so listen, I would love to see us go and pick up the Europa League, but if I'm putting hand on heart, then no, I don't think we'll win it personally. But in terms of getting back into Champions League, it is our best chance, because you cannot rely and trust these group of Arsenal players. And I've said it time and time again, over a 38-game season, it's just not going to happen. You're gonna let yourself down as a fan every single time. But yeah, mate, I think the Leeds game and the Man City game, I said to you on your live stream, because someone put it in the chat, I think it's Gooner Nation, in terms of our Premier League games, what are we going to take out of 15 points? So for guys in the chat, the guys watching this on Periscope and YouTube, We've got Leeds on Valentine's Day. We've got Man City, Leicester, Burnley, and we've got our arch rival Spurs. And so, guys, listen, when this stream's done, put in the chat whatever. What do you think Arsenal's going to get at 15 points? Alex, I think you said 8, if I'm right.
Yeah, 8.
And I went for 10. I said we beat Leeds, lose to Man City, optimistically draw at Leicester, beat Burnley just about. And the only reason why I say we beat Spurs is because I just think we will. And I'm just being blind loyalty. But yeah, Alex, man, I'm not going to keep you long. So I guess the final thing I'm going to say to you, mate, is I'll take the Leeds game in isolation. Why do you think we'll get the W against them?
I just think I wouldn't say easy to play against, but they're easier to open up. And that's our problem at the moment. Defensively, it's probably been the best we've been for like 6 or 7 years. And that's just that's being brutally honest. You know, he has done the job as much as you may not want Arteta. Defensively, we're a much better team now. And Leeds you can go through Leeds like anything. So I fancy us to score goals. It'll be about keeping a clean sheet and that. That's why I fancy us to beat Leeds then.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Before we go, my prediction for Leeds, I think Arsenal win 5-4. Leeds are a mad team, man. Like, I mean, for example, you know when they played Manchester United? I mean, I know United won 6-2, but Leeds could have scored about 6 goals in that game. Honestly, it was ridiculous, the football I was watching. But on a big up the guys in the chat, I'm going to go for Arsenal to win a home win. I'm going to go for... I'll be shocked if Leeds don't score, man. Oh, God. I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal. And that is being very optimistic. I'll take a 1-0 tonight, let alone when we play them next Sunday. But guys, man, big up the guys in the chat. Thanks for your comments. And let me go through some of the comments actually before we shoot off. Bro, I know we would get money for finishing top 4, but would we do what would we do in the Champions League? Imagine if we played Bayern. That's a scary thing. You know what, Alex? Just a good point. If we made the Champions League, man, I'll be frightened for our lives, mate. Because I think we get wiped the floor with some teams.
Yeah.
It does worry me. I mean, I know the Arsenal money men. Yeah, man, they're thinking get back in the Champions League. They don't care if you win it, man. You know what I mean? But boy, I'll be a bit worried, man. I'll be really worried. I'll go through some of your comments, guys, before we log off. Yeah, Hendon Gooner did say that. He said 3 points out of 15. And by the way, them 3 points he said, right? He said there were 3 draws. So he basically ain't going to beat any teams. Beat Leeds and
He might be right. He might be right looking at today's game.
Hendon Gooner, if you play the lottery, man, trust me, play it, man. You never know what's going to happen. I'm being serious, man. Don't expect top 4, but the standards and expectation standards are slipping. Our expectations are too high. You know what? That's a fair point, Alex. And I would say the reason why I brought that comment up is because, yes, we're a big club and we've been successful over a period of time, a long time ago now, to be honest, because I don't deem the Emirates era successful. And I'll be surprised if any Arsenal fan tells me that they are, because 4 FA Cups in 16 years. Yeah, Everton would be happy with that. No disrespect. Newcastle will be climbing the walls to get for it. They haven't won a trophy for about 100 years, I think, probably. But no, the expectation thing is a good point, because I think we remember Vieira, remember Petit, remember Overmars and Henry. But Alex, the thing is, that's a long time ago, man. Football moves in different cycles, bro.
I still think, even though we are a million miles away from those days, the lineups we've got right now, we should be winning games like today. You know, no disrespect to Villa, they got some really good players, but you know, we should be winning these games.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I agree. This is why I came for the chat, guys. If you're in the chat, smash up the like button, please. Support my bro Alex on his channel. The link is in my description, but you can find us on social media. It's probably a lot easier that way, anyway. Yeah, Hendon Gooner, I'm praying listen, I'll go on an online church service tomorrow. Trust me, man. I'm trying to get these guys to Arsenal to listen to us, man, but they're not helping us, bro. But yeah, Alex, I want to thank you for coming on, man. My bro, man. Big up Alex's channel, brilliant stuff he does there, great content. So please, guys, go and subscribe and follow him. And before you ask, yes, I have subscribed to his channel. I did it last year. You know what it is, Alex? People say to people, "Oh yeah, go and subscribe," but I think, you know what? Have I subscribed to people's channels before I'm telling people to? But I have. There's not one person that can come and tell me I haven't subscribed to a channel, because I have. So and guys, it's free. Come on, man, just subscribe to the people channel then. But guys, big up the guys in the chat, man. Thanks for the interaction. I was struggling to keep up, man. I love the interacting with you guys and getting your opinions on where this football club is taking us. But I would generally say I just find it difficult to trust them, man. Yeah, and that's the problem.
I would happily take 15th place in the league as long as we win the Europa League. I'm not even joking. I'm at the point now I couldn't care less about league games right now. Yeah, I would. Everything for me is the Europa League, and Mikel Arteta, the way he handles the next month, I think is going to define whether he'll be here next season or not. Because it's like, before we finish, we got Leeds home on the 18th, and then we play 14th, and then we play Benfica away 4 days later. So, like I said, you can't keep playing the same players every 3 or 4 days. Yeah. So if he prioritizes that Leeds game and we go to Benfica and basically go out in the first leg, I think the writing could be on the wall. I know a lot of people will go after him then. So I hope he prioritizes the Europa League, because that's all we've got left now. I don't want to hear any more talk about top 4. That's gone. That's long gone now. Yeah.
Listen, I've not been entertaining that conversation for as long as I could remember, man. But guys, before I get you guys to do your thing, you should know what to do by now. And there you have it. So, Alex, where can the guys find you, my friend? And thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem, my friend. You could catch me out for the Arsenal on YouTube, and on Twitter is for the Arsenal _. And I think we are back next weekend, is it, for the Leeds game, if you're available, Albert?
Good old Valentine's Day. Yes, it, mate. Let's have it, man.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Why not? I'm sure I can get some time off again. Yeah, but I hope we can get this like as a regular thing now. So if you guys are tuning in, or if you tuned in earlier, make sure that we build this community up, and it'll be a really good place, especially with no football going on at the moment. It's just something different, isn't it, to get involved in?
Yeah.
But cheers for tuning in.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Alex, yes, I concur with Alex, man. Like, listen, this ain't about no ego for me, man. I like to collab with a lot of people, and get the content out there, support the growth of the other people's channels, the people I've collabed with. So yeah, guys, man, get on board, man. Like I said, it's free to subscribe in it, like and share and whatever. But guys, before I go, I'll sort my title out for the scoreline. Thanks, Alex, man. I completely wouldn't have picked that up, man. That would have been bad. People would go, this guy crazy. But yeah, Arsenal do it to us again. So guys, that's me, Albert JTV, over and out. As you said, like I said, my Instagram, my Twitter is above on the overlay. Subscribe to Albert JTV, subscribe to Alex for the Arsenal, top guy. Yeah, we'll be collabing more. So that's me, over and out. Aston Villa 1, Arsenal 0. We move.
Okay.